Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another beautiful day in sunny Perth. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for tuning in. This is another episode of a series called On the Floor, where I go around and check out some really awesome spaces, workshops, people, stories in WA and Australia. Today we are at the workshop called WTF. It is located in Kelmscott. They mostly deal in Toyotas, but also deal with a whole raft of other really incredible cars. So we're going to chat to Tristan, see what makes him tick, see what WTF is all about, and see some of their incredible builds, which I know you are going to be pumped for because I'm pumped for them, so you're going to be pumped for them. Let's go.
I'm Tristan Hewitt from WTF Auto. So WTF Auto is a workshop in Perth, Western Australia. We focus on modifying Japanese sports cars primarily, making anything go fast really. We're focusing on engine building, fabrication and dyno tuning. We came up with the name WTF Auto, you could say it was over some beers before this workshop even existed. It was a bit of a joke. We started calling ourselves the WTF Auto Group just as a bit of a laugh. And then all of a sudden that's what everybody knew us by, so we couldn't change it. And I'm glad we haven't because, you know, people hear that name, they remember it. It's perfect for us. It explains everything about what we do. When people see our cars go, they go WTF, right? And it's what we want people to think, and it's what they do think, and they certainly don't forget the name, do they? WTF Auto was established in 2008, so we've been going for about a decade now. So while we've always focused on Toyotas, that is our specialty, and we started off doing just Toyotas, a lot of our customers have gone off to get other cars, maybe Nissan GTRs or even some domestic things like Falcons and Commodores, and we've continued to support them with those vehicles as well. So we've gotten quite a bit of experience with Barra engines and LSs. A lot of people will be upset about that whole LS thing, but they're actually wonderful motors. Look into it. So yeah, we've really done a lot of different cars. Mazdas, the MX-5s with turbos. What else? Hondas, lots of Honda turbos. So we're talking some Civics that are actually pretty fast. You probably wouldn't want to try and race one of these things if you see a WTF Auto sticker on a Honda. And so on and so forth. So while you'll see 90% Toyotas in our workshop, we definitely do a lot more than just that. So engine building, fabrication, ECU installs and dyno tuning are the four things that we have been focusing on for the past 10 years, but we are continuing to evolve the things we're doing. We're selling a lot more parts that we keep in stock in the office, and we're also starting to push some CNC machined parts that are being done in-house in our workshop. So constantly evolving and doing more things, but really everything in the engine bay, that's where we're at. The MR2 you saw in the back of the shop with the V6, it's a combination of car and engine that kind of made us famous, and it's what this workshop was built on way back in the day. Before I set up the shop, I built my own V6 MR2, and that produced 540 horsepower, which is quite a bit for a little car, especially back in 2008. And it got quite a bit of exposure. It was featured in Zoom magazine, and even though nobody's seen that car for a long time, people are still constantly asking me about it and talking about it. So this one we've got in the back of the shop is an evolution of that original design. It's a forged 3-litre V6 that you'd find in an Avalon or a Camry. Not that exciting, but once you put those internals in there, they turn into a bit of a monster. That thing's running a Gen 2 Garrett GTX turbo. It's going to make a lot of power, and it's going to surprise some people. So the 2JZ engine you saw over there on the stand, that's a pretty special one actually. It's one of our very good customers. He's produced over 1,000 horsepower on our rollers so far with this engine, and he's going for even more. We're hoping to see 12 or 1,300 horsepower out of this engine. Pretty ballistic. It's running a Real Street RS 1600 kit. So this is a kit that Real Street have developed specifically to make 1,600 horsepower reliably, which is awesome. So it's an excellent way to build an engine and hit that goal in a way that's been tried and tested. This engine is already running those components, and hopefully we can get it up near those magic figures. The most powerful car we've produced is, of course, a Supra. Anybody was going to guess that it was going to be a Supra, and it is in fact that 2JZ engine that we've just spoken about with the Real Street internals. That's the most power we've measured on our rollers. However, there are other cars that we've measured even higher horsepower numbers with, but on other dynos, because 1,000 horsepower is actually approaching the most power we can read through normal tyres on a roller. So once we exceed that, we go off to a hub dyno to further tune the car and measure even higher horsepower numbers. To date, the best we've seen out of a Supra, a different Supra, was 1,153 horsepower.
Making with Jive Boy Station when it hits you, yeah.
So this particular building we moved into about 4 years ago. It's our third shop. So we found every few years that we've outgrown the place that we've gone into, and we always think, well, surely this place is going to be big enough, and then what do you know, we start outgrowing that as well. The business is constantly evolving and growing, and you know what, we're starting to outgrow this one as well. But it's a nice shop. It's new, it's tidy, and we look forward to seeing what we can accomplish here before we step up into our next one. So Race Wars is a really exciting event for us. We had a pretty good presence last year. We took down 6 cars. All of those cars came home in one piece, which was awesome. Shane Kenner's MR2 was a real standout. That won the 4-cylinder class by a huge margin, 21 k's an hour faster than second place in the 4-cylinder class, and we are winding that car up to new highs ready for next year. So we're aiming for some serious speed. It did 289 in the last event, and we're looking at over 300 out of the 4-cylinder this time. But next year is going to be huge for us. Where we took 6 cars before, we're looking at taking 15 plus cars this time. We are really looking to dominate many areas of that event and put on a huge show for everyone. The BMW you can see in the shop, you'd be forgiven for thinking maybe we're getting into that market as well. But no, it's running a 2JZ engine. what else would you do to a BMW that you need to make go faster? It's a bit of a squeeze, but I'm really excited to finish that car. I think it's going to be a huge hoot to drive. It's running a manual transmission as well, Haltech ECU. It's going to be ballistic.
Yes, you holler, yeah.
1, 2, 3.
So the CNC machine you saw in the back of the shop, WTF Auto is actually partnering with another company called Infinity CNC to develop some really exciting locally produced CNC parts for all sorts of cars, and of course the Toyotas are going to be a huge priority for us there as well. Now the first parts we've produced out of the machine, we've started with something simple. We're doing some stainless steel CNC machined exhaust flanges. While it's not a very exciting part, there's a severe lack of affordable stainless steel flanges when we're building exhaust systems, and we've always had to settle for either extremely expensive stainless steel flanges, which of course makes things too expensive for customers, or these kind of average mild steel flanges. So we've decided to produce our own stainless steel flanges, which look amazing, and most importantly we can keep the cost down to the customer because we're producing them in-house. The most exciting project we're working on by far at the moment is the V12 Mark IV Supra that has been in the works for a while now. So that's one where we're getting the Toyota 5-litre V12 and some turbos and a 6-speed manual transmission, and we're getting it all to work inside of a Supra. But that's a bit of a side project, and I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot more about that in time. But if you wanted to see where we're up to now, you can check it out on YouTube channel quickshift.tv.
So that brings us to the end of today's episode of On The Floor. Thank you so much to Tristan for allowing us into his incredibly clean and tidy workshop. Probably one of the cleanest workshops I've been in a very long time. Props. Hopefully I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up if you enjoyed all of the supreme footage on this new lens, which I have invested for you guys. Always trying to keep up for you lot. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. And yeah, thanks for watching.